I won't click the button. What's going on, everybody? The people watching this right now are watching this in the future because no one ever watches it as soon as the live stream goes up. But welcome back. My name is Chris, and I'm here with Brad, and we are going to be doing it's a bi-weekly market update. That seems to be the schedule we're going on right now, and there's a lot that happens in 2 weeks, especially now with the current administration and everything up in the air with speculation whether or not a Bitcoin reserve is going to happen. All these countries, even the states, saying that they want to. They're all initiating these plans to add Bitcoin to their state reserves. So there's a lot going on, and it's hard to keep track of all of it. So our goal with these streams is to kind of keep you guys up to date on the market. And there's more than just Bitcoin, just giving that as an example. There's D-pins. I mean, that's pretty much our whole channels are D-pins. So, yeah. Welcome, Brad.
Thank you, sir. Not in my normal studio because you couldn't tell. I was in Arizona for the waste management tournament this last weekend, and flew back to St. Louis. And I was supposed to head back today, but we had some pretty inclement weather, and almost actually, man, I was about to head out, and the roads were pretty bad, and somebody in an F-150 almost took me off the road. So I was like, I'm just gonna head back tomorrow.
Yeah,
So here I
no
am.
reason to rush.
Yeah. But yeah, man, so exciting things happening. Obviously, we had a major flush out. I guess that just last week. It was the biggest liquidation event in crypto history. So pretty big deal. Bitcoin's held up pretty well, but
Yeah,
altcoins got
dude.
absolutely demolished. A lot of the deep end projects, we saw 50% retracements. Meme coins, a lot of them saw 95%, which gives you very bearish vibes. I don't think that we're in a bear market though, but
Absolutely not.
altcoins have been crushed, no doubt about it. So I think we'll talk through our feelings on that. Some of the frustrations we've seen with some of the altcoins not performing as well as we had hoped to this point, but I think there might be some greener times ahead.
Yeah, I think so. I still don't believe it. I mean, call me a conspiracy theorist, but I don't believe the current prices are the real current prices. And we talked about this like right before the stream. We talked about it last time. There's clearly something going on, and because this space isn't regulated, it's not illegal. It's just a gray area. And I think obviously when regulation comes into place, all the stuff that happens in the past is probably just going to be forgotten about, but I think it's being suppressed. I mean, we mention last time about the gold standard? Gold was at a certain price for a very, very long time. As soon as we got off the gold standard, it was allowed to be a free market and just keep going. So I think we're in for a rude awakening. Now the issue is I see everybody saying the same thing. So are we all just drinking opium, or could it be legitimate?
I, I have to say, I've seen a lot of, like, especially last week, a lot of bearish posts. A lot of people saying the bull market's over, more than we've seen in a long time. Now, some of that sentiment's changed a little bit today, but I feel like the market makers, in this market cycle, especially, they like to do the opposite of what people are expecting. I think there's a lot of people, myself included, looking at prior market cycles, that beginning of February when things are going to take off. I think a lot of people, that same sentiment, people were very invested. There are a lot of people trading on leverage that were overexposed. And I believe, we saw, well, obviously DeepSeek, and then we saw the two tariff scares that came up, and I believe
Yeah.
the market makers also pulled a lot of liquidity all at once, and we saw, in this market where you see a lot of people trading on leverage and a lot of liquidations take place, you see really big movements, and I think we saw a lot of that over the last couple weeks. But my sentiment still remains the same. There's still so many bullish signals right now, regulatory signals, obviously, but then you touched on it. I mean, the states, there's a
Dude, there's
map
so many.
I've
Yeah,
been
I got
seeing
the map
recently.
right here. They just had in New York today. I mean, this map. There's more states with Bitcoin strategic reserves bills than not now. Like we're almost filling up the entire map. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. I saw something. It was like if all of these states end up passing it, and I don't know that all of them will, but it'd be
Yes.
something like 20 something billion dollars in buy pressure expected just in Bitcoin. That's just states. That's not even talking about now banks are getting the green light now to custody. You've got obviously the US Strategic Reserve. David Sachs had that conference. There wasn't a whole lot of excitement in that, but the one thing he did say at the very end, and I don't know how many people caught on to this, he said he was asked about the strategic reserve specifically, and he said it's one of the first things we're going to be tackling. So to think a lot of these people that are getting appointed are just now starting to officially get into their roles.
Oh yeah.
Um, so
Tulsi Gabbard was just appointed today, so
yeah,
she's pro Bitcoin.
absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. And then you have we'll touch on the Solana ETF and the FTX funds getting repaid too. But
Yes.
yeah, man. But yeah, if you want to, what are your thoughts, on the states, on the regulatory environment?
It's funny. I obviously X has been very tailored to what you look at. So the Super Bowl just happening. I'm getting a lot of like Philadelphia Eagles stuff because I'm an Eagles fan. But in between, I also looked at a couple Litecoin tweets. I was on the Litecoin space. I was actually able to speak on the Litecoin space a week ago, which was pretty sick. I'm seeing Litecoin actually outperforming the rest of the market. I'm seeing a lot of pro Litecoin stuff. There's also like this war, I mentioned it last time, between XRP and Litecoin because they want to take second place behind Bitcoin, or they want to even take first place. I think Litecoin is aiming to be second place, but the biggest thing is like they don't want Bitcoin maxis, Litecoin maxis. I think anybody that is super into crypto really understands why XRP is not the right option, and they're worried because it seems like they have their hands deep in the government right now and possibly could be added to the reserve, but there's no word on that. Now they did come out and say that they're not going to be allowing CBDCs.
CBDCs,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a hard 4-letter agency to remember.
Big news. Central bank digital currencies. Yeah, that's a big thing because China has I mean, there's a lot of countries actually that have launched
Yeah.
CBDCs. China was like trying to push adoption to theirs. I mean, there's obviously a lot of concern around that when those get passed because it's an overstep of privacy, in many cases, and then they can really control your funds. I think
Yeah.
that really does open the door for stable coins and for our projects to thrive potentially more so than if CBDCs got passed. I'm glad that news dropped. Or at
People are
least,
saying that XRP is a CBDC. So that's where there's this disconnect in the community because a lot of people are like, yeah, and it's like split down the line, I would say. And I know all of the people that are like crypto YouTubers that mine coins are completely against XRP because we understand the fundamentals of how a blockchain works and the fact that there's missing blocks. You can say there's a ledger, whatever, but I just think if like, I don't know if it's possible, but I feel like they should have at one point, if they knew all of these blocks were missing, done something to correct it rather than
yeah,
just kind of say, no, like it's what like they could have relaunched the chain and issued everything to people. I know it's a huge task, but they could have done all of this and they
yeah.
haven't. And now they're facing what they could have fixed. Honestly, I think they could have done something different.
Yeah,
And I'm just
and it's
I'm just a guy. Like obviously, I don't know how to do any of this, but I'm sure they have smart people on their team.
yeah. It was the beginning stages, right? Like the first X amount of blocks are missing. They had downtime
30,000
too.
blocks.
Didn't the XRP network went down like last week, I think, for a period of time too, which is
Yes,
kind
it
of
did.
crazy.
And so did Solana had a couple months ago, or what was it, November, December, with all the meme coin hype, they had a huge network congestion issue,
Yeah, they
which
did.
is a serious problem because that can happen at any time. And they pretty much had to like put us on dial up to get the transactions to go through. Like they really slowed it down. Phantom and
Yeah.
Coinbase, they were all like, oh, we're doing our best, but they have no power over the Solana blockchain functioning. And that was a key point brought up by Litecoin. I feel like I'm a Litecoin shiller now because I feel like I just bring it up all the time. But Litecoin and Bitcoin are perfect examples. Like they just work. They have no downtime. There's the blocks never get binded up. Like there's proven history that just they work, and that they're so basic, but like that was the original point of all this. And
Yeah.
we can. I'm gonna try to refrain myself
There,
from.
there's a lot of people calling for Litecoin, a big Litecoin breakout. Have you looked at the price of BNB, by the way, financed coin? Have you looked at it?
Yeah. Oh, $712 right now. It's up
Yeah.
24% in the past 7 days. It has
Yeah.
been, yeah. I had a bunch of them at like $7. So,
And there's rumors that Binance sold off all their crypto. I haven't looked
oh,
to see
that's
if that's
right.
true or not. I saw that
They
like
were
earlier.
getting bought out by BlackRock, apparently. I think.
Huh. BlackRock's buying up everybody. Also seeing some rumors that BlackRock was like buying up 5% of MicroStrategy to try to crash the price of that. I don't know if that's true or not yet either, but I've been seeing reports of that. I don't know if that's valid.
Well,
Have a hard time believing it because they want the ETFs to be successful, right? Like, why would they want to crash the price of Bitcoin?
yeah. So here's
Seems,
something interesting. And I don't know how official this is. It's just a random person tweeting, but they said BlackRock has now positioned Bitcoin as a risk-off asset. For people that don't know
yeah.
what a risk-off asset is, it's considered to be lower risk. It offers lower returns, but has a lower risk of loss. That's, I mean, BlackRock saying something like that, whether or not it's true or not, I gotta look it up.
Well,
But
yeah, I saw that as well. I mean, that would mean that it should function in line with gold and decouple from the market more or less, because risk on assets generally do good during quantitative easing, low interest rate environments when money's flowing. And I think we have though kind of seen Bitcoin to an extent decouple more than we have in the past, at least. I think a lot of that's the ETF flows. Because it's held up pretty well, man. It's actually been really frustrating in a sense. I mean, I own a fair amount of Bitcoin, but it's like Bitcoin will dump for a day, all the alts will dump, and Bitcoin recovers, and all the alts are like, "Nah, we're just gonna like stay down and not recover." And it's like it just like keeps happening. Um,
let me share my entire screen here. This is a good video. I feel like I didn't watch the whole thing. I'll share the whole thing, but I think it's pretty important. This is a crypto YouTuber.
Bitcoin accumulation
Oh, let me turn it up.
trend is near zero. That's why it's in yellow. And why is that a good thing? That means Bitcoin has been accumulating for a long time. The last time we were at accumulation score of 0 was back in September of 2024. And what happened after that? Well, October happened, and then November happened, and then December happened. Great months. Even though people didn't like October, people didn't like it because most of October didn't really do much until it did. And then we went much higher. It's just really that simple.
I guess that's pretty much all I have to. All I have to share.
yeah, it's
Just the point
valid.
across.
And here's the one thing that we've been seeing is like ETFs, the spark money's been just buying, buying, buying. And I think, we're having this capitulation event where people got really scared and a lot of people panic sold. A lot of people got liquidated, a lot of people on leverage. But, the smart money is buying, man. And that's
Yeah,
where, and it's right. I mean, we're just in an accumulation zone. Bitcoin's just been hovering in the zone for a while. I feel like a breakout's got to be coming at some point soon. And I And we'll talk about altcoins and DePIN more specifically here in a minute, but I do want to keep talking about Bitcoin for a little bit here.
I think I accidentally closed out one of the tabs. But yeah, the amount of Bitcoin that people are buying it's not people, because people can't buy the amount that BlackRock and MicroStrategy is buying, but even World Liberty, the one that Trump's like company. It's already got 550,000 followers. I don't know if you followed Ondu. Did you hear about their whole thing this week?
Yeah.
They're
Ondo or
introducing,
Ondu, yeah.
yeah,
Or
on yeah.
RWAs.
That was huge. They had Donald Trump Jr. come and speak. It was in New York. I tried to get a ticket to see, but I didn't get accepted. It was crazy. I mean, they're aiming to bring pretty much everything you can imagine from the stock market onto blockchain, and it's big. And they partnered with World Liberty, and World Liberty has been accumulating a ridiculous amount of Ethereum. You know what? I can probably go to Arkham Intelligence. Oh, it's going to go to my address. Don't look at all my money. It's only $400. I've already shown that before, so it doesn't matter. World Liberty. We're doing it live. World Liberty. This is such a cool site. They have 30. They were founded, January 19th, January 18th? They already have $39 million in crypto assets. Majority of it in Tron, which is interesting.
Weird.
But they have a bunch of ETH. This isn't showing Bitcoin, whatever, but look, they have right here 480,000 Ondu, or $1,000 worth of Ondu. They have a bunch of coins. They have Grok, which is interesting. It's probably meme coins, whatever, because you can just send it to these addresses. But they are buying at large, very, very large amounts. The National Bank of Canada purchased 2 million in Bitcoin ETFs. Just kind of, there's normally a news article like this would be front page, but there's thousands of them.
Yeah, it's becoming very commonplace now.
You can't even keep track of a $2 million purchase.
I mean,
so often.
4 years ago, that would have been just massive news. Do you remember just Tesla buying it alone is what set Bitcoin to all-time highs in the last market side. Now we're seeing that news daily, and people are just so people are so bearish. It's wild.
This whale bought 36,000 Ethereum.
I think people are just exhausted, man. It's just been the meme coins, and I was thinking about this, and we might have talked about this last time, but I would liken the meme coins to NFTs the last market cycle. It just seems though, with Pump.Fun, it just has made it so easy for people to launch meme coins every second. I mean, there's bots that are just following the news and automatically launching meme coins, and it's just we've and since this crash a couple weeks ago, we were seeing stuff launch and going up to $30 to $50 million market cap. Now it's it might run to $1 million, and then it gets rugged in 5 minutes, just constantly. And I think people are just exhausted by the meme coin stuff at this point. And I think a lot of people again got pretty wrecked over the last couple weeks, especially anyone on leverage, because a lot of people are long on the market, and I think a lot of people got liquidated. Seriously.
Yeah. It's the meme coin fiasco. I mean, it's gonna end like NFTs ended, but I don't know. Will NFTs ever come back? I think the way a lot of this stuff works is there's a huge wave of bullshit, and then it dies out, and then the real ones stay. Doge is a meme coin, but Doge is not like these. These are the equivalent, I would say, of tornado cash. Everyone's sending money to one thing, and then someone's pulling it all out. It's washing money.
We saw that with NFTs last market cycle, though. You saw a bunch of launches that would happen. They would rotate from one to the other to the other. There's still some blue chip ones that stayed relevant, and I think that'll probably be the case with some of these meme coins. But dude, we saw, it was Chill Guy dropped like
Gone.
95%. A lot of these dropped 95%, and it is a good reminder of what's going to happen in the bear market. Like, and we're
Yeah.
going to see this with a lot of alts, right? But like, especially meme coins, a lot of them are going to be worthless. So it's like,
Yeah.
if you're going to play in that space, a reminder to take profits. If you're going to play in that space. But what do you? Okay, so let's talk about deep in stuff, because I know there's a lot of frustration. I saw an interesting tweet earlier today. It's like, people that are actually building must be so pissed when they are building like a true utility project, especially in the defense space, and all they see is people posting about meme coins and the liquidity flowing through that space. I know it's certainly been frustrating, being very invested in the deep in space to see it. But
Yeah.
what are your thoughts, man?
I kind of went off on a rant today in my Discord server about this because my buddy 619 was saying, like, I'm tired of the bullshit. I think I want to quit crypto because of all the deep in stuff. And I was thinking, like, fundamentally, what is the difference between a deep in project and a proof of work project? Like, easily I can compare it to Bitcoin. I can compare it to Litecoin and say, okay, they don't have a CEO. They don't have all these people that are hands on. And those people we point to when we're disappointed. But Bitcoin, the price is, well, it's up 0.39% in the past hour. So our stream must be doing something. But you can't point to anyone for blame as to why Bitcoin is down or up in price. And I think that's why a lot of people like it, because no one can take responsibility for it. It's very easy to just point, like, Hive map, bro. Let's point at Ariel and say, oh, you're to blame for all this, all these hiccups, but there's so much more to it that we don't see on the day-to-day basis. On the other hand, like, they did say they would ship these devices during this time, and I think there could have been better communication. There always could have been a could have been kind of thing. Like, they could have done this better, they could have done that better, but at the end of the day, I mean, they're human, they're doing their best. Bitcoin is literally code. Like, it's never going to make a mistake like a human would make. And there's pros and cons to that. And I think some people are against DeepIn, obviously, because it goes against kind of the core crypto fundamentals of being completely decentralized. And when you have a CEO and a face to a company, there is some input involved. But what's the difference between that and having like a community? And that's how DeepIn kind of counters it, is because they have all of the hips, well, for HiveMapper specifically, but they have all these things that you can vote on and participate on to still give that sort of decentralized phase to it. But it's still like, it's walking a tight line, and some projects take advantage of it. There are a lot of DeepIn projects that have come and gone that have taken advantage of it. There's people that are watching that know some of the projects I'm talking about. Honestly, even Helium being, the almighty DeepIn, the top of the chain right now, still, after everything that has happened with them and bad vendors, they have taken advantage of the system. That, is it one person's fault? No. Is it just what happens because there's no regulations in place? Probably.
Yeah.
I feel like there's still, like, I think a lot of people are excited that Trump is in office for crypto regulation, but we haven't seen anything yet, and a lot of people are just waiting. I think that's why the prices of everything have just been kind of just stagnant. It hasn't. There's no reason for it to be insane because there's no reserve, there's no regulations, there's nothing set in stone.
Sure. I mean, well, we got to think when it comes to Bitcoin, like, it's been around since 2008, 2009. So like,
Yeah.
it has much more adoption.
Yeah.
It's totally different though than all, especially DeepIn projects. Like, DeepIn still, look, Helium kind of paved the way in many ways, and they're, of course, if you're a trailblazer, you're gonna have missteps. They certainly had some
Oh yeah.
missteps. There's no doubt about it. They still have like that SEC thing hanging over them right
Yeah.
now that got dropped like the day before Trump's inauguration. I would expect that'll likely get dropped. I think it would be very bullish for the whole deepen sector if it does. But one of the things we have to remember is like these are more or less businesses in a sense, in that their goal is to, we've seen the supply side get built up, but the goal is to actually drive revenue into these projects. Now, I think some of them have a pathway to do it. Some of them don't. Some of them want to sell
Yeah.
equipment and give out tokens and, sell their tokens. Like, it's going to take time. When you start up a
Absolutely.
business, it takes time. It takes time to build a profitable business. It doesn't happen in the first 1 or 2 years generally, right? Like,
Yeah.
so we're starting to see some of these generate revenue. Like, and look, with HiveMapper, the tokenomics aren't amazing. I think though, if we were in a bull run, or in an upswing in the market right now, and the price was at like 15 to 20 cents, people wouldn't be bitching about it. People would be
Yeah.
happy. When the market's down, everyone wants to complain and point fingers and get super negative. When the market's up, that one thing, GeoNet though has been like, like it's crazy how much they've held up with the market, because they've generated revenue, they have token burns, they've been very transparent, they're getting usage. And I think, if we see other projects follow suit, we'll see that where you're less affected by market conditions. But a lot of these projects that aren't generating enough revenue yet, like HiveMapper's in that exact situation where it's like, they need to generate real revenue to be insulated from market conditions. It's going to take time if they do get there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You saw my video about Daba Network. Like, I think that they have potential to drive some real revenue.
Yeah.
Um, and Exabits is in last year. They're like the base layer for AI compute. They generated over $10 million in revenue last year, and they're just kind of getting going. Like, so there are some good projects out there. I do believe, and there's a comment here that said markets go up and down in the long run, utility will win. I agree with that. Like, I think people are going to get exhausted with the meme coin stuff. We're already seeing it. Like, the amount of volume right now being traded in meme coins is way down. I think a lot of people got liquidated. Um, I think I think people are going to get tired of getting rug pulled, and eventually we will start to see a flow to utility. And before we get on, I talked about this. Like, we started to see that towards the end of last year, where people were at least going to AI agents because I think they were getting tired of the meme coins to an extent and wanted something with utility to an extent. And then we saw Trump launch his meme coin, and it kind of pushed all the liquidity back into Solana again.
Yeah.
Um, but after this last liquidation event, I do believe people are uh, going to be looking towards utility. And I think Deepin's one of those sectors. It's just a matter of when, in my opinion,
Yeah.
when it's going to happen, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you made a good point. Bitcoin has been around for a long time, and DePIN has been around for what, 3 years? So in terms of use case, a lot of these projects don't have people to sell it to. They're still building. Like what this comment said is, we are here and we are building. That's perfect. Like, it's just a lot of us, obviously, and this is the same thing that happened with Bitcoin in the beginning. People get frustrated and they leave because they're like, Bitcoin's at $2 and I've been holding it for 3 years. I'm getting out of here. If they were to have held it for the next 10 years, they would have been multimillionaires. So I'm not saying it's going to happen with all of these projects, but there's a lot of projects that are big ticket items. And I think we get hung up with the little details. And I don't think the little details are important in the grand scheme of things. Like, do you really think the people that were worried about which GPU to buy in 2013 when they were mining 100 Bitcoin a day with one GPU, looking back on it, you're not hung up about it. So, like, yes, there are some setbacks with a lot of these projects. There are shipping delays. There are all of these issues, like normal human issues that we have. But if you look at long term and you look at fundamentally, what do they have to offer? Just stick to that. Like, just remember that. And I think, you'll see which projects are actually worth it. Like, I don't know. Can I talk about it bad about a project?
Sure.
Well, I'm not really big into XNet anymore. I wouldn't say I was ever really big into it, but I got pretty much a message from somebody that they're just like all over the place, and it sucks. Like, it just sucks when a project has potential and they just they internally blow up. They have internal issues and they can't figure it out. And I've seen that with a couple other projects in the past. It sucks because a lot of people bought their product. They have their token, whether or not they're in testnet or not. And there's just a lot of risk to get involved in that. Do you want to speak on XNet at all? Or?
I will say I don't know a ton about their project. I was approached at one point in time to set up a hotspot, but that I would have to do a review on the project. And I said I need to do my due diligence. And I say that with any project that reaches out to me before I would cover it, I do my due diligence. And when I looked at the tokenomics, I was not a fan. I was told that they would be updating them. And so I turned down that offer and I said, I'll reapproach it once you guys update the tokenomics. Because for me, if I don't believe in a project, I just don't cover it. I don't normally like go, put out a negative video. I just cover projects that I would personally invest in.
Yeah.
And that was one that I was like, there's a couple question marks. So I never took the chance to dive in that deep on it. I just looked at it from a surface level and then stayed away from it myself. That's not to say it's not going to be a good project. I don't know. It just means that I personally decided to stay away.
Yeah. And there's a lot of projects like that just,
yeah.
I mean, I back with Joe, if anyone remembers Joe, he said on a live stream or something, what does it solve? Like some of these projects, they come out and they aim to solve a problem that it's not a problem. And it's tough because to have that $1 million idea that's why it's called $1 million idea. It's rare to have that idea for a project that can do what it does. Like Hide Mapper is a good example. Like who would have thought of that? But there's these projects that are around right now. These projects that we don't even know about that are going to be coming out this year, next year, and so on. They're going to be solving real world problems, and they're doing it with blockchain, which is it's awesome. I wanted to show something actually, because thanks to you, I updated some of this. I added wing bits down here. I removed some other projects. I added High Mapper. I think this is their new logo, so I added that. But
you had Daba in there.
Yeah, Daba's up top.
Nice.
Yeah. I spent probably 8 or 10 hours on this the other day, and I made them all SVG so you can zoom in as much as you want and they don't get pixelized or anything. But the point of this whole thing, and some of these are affiliate links, most of them are not, but the point of it is I don't want you guys to be going to, CoinGecko and looking at like number 6,000 on the deep end and just spam buying it. The idea behind this kind of directory that I'm building, and it's a work in progress, it always will be, is that I can kind of help you guys find projects that are meaningful and that add something to the world. And I've removed a lot of projects that are still active. They are still good. But I just don't believe in them. And if you guys saw this site before, you would know which ones I'm talking about. But Brad, like if you have anything you want to add, any projects,
get exhibits in there. That's my next video. So exhibits is going to be a monster. If you look at the decentralized GPU projects that are the ones that are notable, like Aether, like Cash Network, IONET, they're all sourcing their high-end GPUs from exhibits. Sorry.
I remember you telling me about that.
So
is it the GPU one? Yes, it is. Got it. Yeah.
So here's the deal. They've created a team. A lot of them worked for AWS, worked for like some of the bigger cloud providers. they have an in with a lot of data centers with thousands of high-end NVIDIA GPUs. They also have the ability to optimize those data centers. 90% of their customers are Web 2 customers, by the way. So they understand the security side of things. They understand what's necessary to work with traditional Web 2 companies. And now they're launching their token pretty soon. We don't have a definite date yet. But all of the decentralized cloud compute projects are basically sourcing their high-end GPUs from Exabits. Because if you want to do any large LLM like training inferencing, you need to access specific data centers that are fine-tuned for that type of work. And they're literally like the one group that has an in the Web3 space to that type of data center. And again, they did $10 million in revenue last year, and their quarter-over-quarter growth is 300% gains. So exabits.ai, check it out. They're going to be a freaking monster in this space, and I think they're going to become like the base layer for AI compute in Web3.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I'm doing my research on that project right now, and obviously I put one on Dava like last week. I think that project's freaking awesome. If you don't watch that video, definitely check it out. It's like 13 minutes, but it's a good video. Um, put a lot of time into and research into that one, but yeah, they've gotten in with the Indian government. They have an in with local operators to do the install, and they're bringing Wi-Fi to a country of 1.4 billion people, of which 5% have internet access. So there's a massive market to tap into there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so someone said that there's that's fun about XNet. Again, look, I have not revisited it since I originally looked at tokenomics. So that was a while back, so I avoided it at that point. So I haven't looked into it that deeply since then. So don't mean to FUD it, but I just, I avoided it early on. So it might be worth a look again.
Yeah, another one. I don't know if you heard about Fry Crypto. I think I mentioned it in a stream before. A lot of people, it's like wishy-washy. Some people like it, some people don't. I didn't really have a good experience with them. Nothing against the guy personally or anything, but like the project, like they wanted me to make a review video, and I was like, okay. So they sent me these devices, and they wanted me to make a video on the white paper. So I'm looking at the white paper, and I make a video, and I'm like, the white paper was it was like a skeleton. They were missing a bunch of stuff, and like, oh, we're gonna update it. And then I'm like, okay, I'm posting the video this day. And then they said, okay, we just updated the white paper. Like as I posted the video, I'm like, what's going on? It's just, it was a whole thing. I don't want to talk bad about projects or anything, but
yeah, that's okay. That's one again, like, so they have weather sensors. They have a lot of different sensors, right? So it's a great concept, but as we've seen, like in this space right now, like if you're gonna have a successful deepen project, it can be very difficult to get the revenue side of things. It's great to collect data, right? But if you are trying to reach into too many different buckets instead of being really good at one thing, my question for them is how are they going to monetize that data? Because there's projects doing the things they're doing that are solely focused on being really good at that thing. So what's their path to revenue? Because in conversations I've had with people, they're like, well, they're good at selling equipment and collecting data, but there's not a clear path to getting revenue from that. Now, I will say, if you look at Who Loves Burrito, great website, by the way. He shows the ROI for different equipment. It's one of the top ones as far as ROI on equipment. But um, we've seen now time and time again, you can give people tokens, you can get them to deploy equipment. The question is like, which ones are going to actually generate revenue? Because that's where the success is going to be next. That's what takes it from purely speculative to, okay, now that flywheel effect is in play, and now the token has real utility, and the price can be justified, and less less downside with market conditions. Those are what I'm trying to find is like, okay, which ones are going to have the real revenue and the team that's going to be working towards that. So, um, that's my concern with that project, frankly.
Yeah.
So
I just added extra bits to site.
nice. Yeah, that's a good project, man. They have a legit team and they have data centers all over the world so that they have clients they're servicing everywhere. So, as opposed to going through to AWS where you have to like access their data center and say like Texas, if you're across the world, you're going to have some latency issues potentially. I think in Europe, there's like regulations that you can't, in some cases, access data centers outside of the country. So they're doing a really good job of getting access to data centers everywhere. And I think that's going to work out to their advantage.
Yeah.
Um,
I have to like spend a day, maybe tomorrow. Like work is starting to pick up a bit, but like catch up on these projects because it's a good problem to have. But there's so many projects that I'm a part of now, and I have to keep updated on them because sometimes like someone will message me and they'll be like, "Oh, what do you think about this? What do you think about that?" It's like, let me look. I don't know. There's constantly, especially GeoNet. I mean, the amount of updates they push, but they're so detailed with the amount of updates.
GeoNet's crushing it. They are crushing it, man. Love to see it, and the price shows it. It's it's still sitting around just over 30 cents, or maybe right around 30 cents right now. After that huge pullback, like it was like the one thing in all of crypto that was green that one day. It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Um,
Speaking of a little bit more deep in, Helium Mobile launched a free phone plan, that was like the big deep in news this week, I would say.
yeah.
That
Yeah,
was pretty cool.
they've got some positive stuff happening. Like we're seeing a lot of positive news with these projects, and the price is just not reflective of it. Like even Demo now is up over like almost like 200 developer licenses. Saw Alex tweeted something out that they have like their first enterprise client, but their price action's been abysmal. Um, do you have any Helium mobile hotspots set up?
Yeah, I have one Helium Mobile hotspot, and I have the Helium Mobile phone line as well.
Oh,
The thing
nice.
that frustrates me a little bit with the phone line is they keep changing their referral rewards. I get it's their company, they can do whatever they want, but they've changed it like 4 or 5 times now with like what you get. At first it was like you just get the equivalent months, like you get someone to subscribe, you get $5, and it was $50. They had like a special promotion, and now I noticed because I just made a video, I think I posted it today. I only am able to refer 3 people. I think it's just because they've limited it because of the Helium free plan and because it is a wait list invite only. They actually had a slowdown. There's an announcement on their page. They have no more physical SIM cards. They're back ordered for the next 3 weeks. But if you have an eSIM, you can do it no problem because this was apparently a really big deal. Clearly, it did better than they thought it would. So that's pretty cool. Although it could just be people getting like really bad, crappy phones that still take SIM cards versus just doing an eSIM.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but we did like when they made that announcement, the amount of new subscriber growth was like was crazy. I saw a chart on that. I mean, look, they're doing some things. I feel like their price is not reflective of the progress they're making, but I think some of that might be due to that SEC situation.
They
So let's
also
wait for that to clear up.
They also decided to go all back to the helium token. I made a video on that too. Got some backlash. Apparently, people liked the IoT token. I hated it. They said there was a lot of upside, and I was thinking maybe I'll make a follow-up video. There is, forgive me, but there's zero upside to a token that nobody cares about. Like it's a low market cap because it's like Helium itself just kind of pushed it to the side. Like now that it's all back in the Helium token, I think there's more upside. Yes, there is a much higher market cap, but there's a lot more room to grow because it's already established. Like the Helium IoT token, I think just was not, it didn't pan out to what people expected it to be. Helium mobile token, that's a different thing. I think that could have been its own success story, and it was to a certain extent. People made a good amount of profit off of it, but
Yeah, the
was,
problem with both those tokens is that they weren't utility tokens. They're for like voting rights. Like so.
yeah,
Now, I'll say for IoT, they're getting a lot of usage. It's a pricing problem, in my opinion. They need to change the price for data credits. Like they could increase the price pretty substantially and still be cheaper than other options out there. But and I think they still could do that. But I don't know. I wouldn't say it's like a failure. I think the network's getting a lot of usage. It's just like at their current price model, they need to get so much usage to drive like real revenue.
yeah. I think I just don't see IoT being something that, I don't know. I could be completely wrong.
State.
Yeah, definitely in its current state. It's just kind of like a sleeping giant, maybe. I know there's hundreds of thousands of IoT hotspots in people's houses. Like I think at the max there was 500,000 hotspots with Helium.
Nearly a million.
Oh, really? Okay, I was
Yeah.
completely wrong. Okay, so almost 1 million hotspots in homes around the world, and yet it just didn't take off. Like it didn't find its footing. And I think I don't know. I mean, Crank is trying to repurpose they actually have repurposed every single Helium miner. You can dual mine Crank and Helium, but still it's just like, I don't know. It's like they're building this network, but what can I use it for? Like they're building the network, but they haven't built any apps. It's much like Demo, how they're building everything and they want people to build on their platform, but their platform is very good. Like it's very easy to build on. I think IoT is much more, like you have to be much more technologically savvy to understand what IoT even is and then use it. Like I can explain IoT to people in my family and they don't know what it is. But if I talk to obviously the crypto people watching us, like, oh, IoT, oh, it's the future. It's like, I don't know. It's like saying the Philadelphia Eagles are the best team in football, but obviously I'm biased. Like, of course, because I like them. I want them to succeed.
They did this year. Yeah, there's still a lot of IoT hotspots out there. It's nice to earn H&T again. I'll say that much.
Like, I do like that.
Yeah, I think it makes it easier for investors to understand too. And I generally go for utility tokens. Like I'm not big on tokens that give you like voting rights. Like I'd much rather have utility tokens.
Helium has passed so many hips as well. Like there have been over what 100 and something. But then they have hips for mobile, and I guess I don't know if they're called hips, but they have different things for all three of those tokens. So it became like a more than a hobby. I mean, if you were in Helium, you had to be like really paying attention with the amount of things they tried to pass. That is the point of
a lot
projects like that, to be able to have the community vote on them. But there was also a big concern because early users had huge sway in which way the vote went, because they held like 50%, more than 50%. Like I think there was some wallets that had like over 20% voting power. That at that point, I wouldn't really say it's decentralized.
Yeah, I agree with that. Another project that's Arweave, I've talked about them like ad nauseum, but they permanent storage project that's getting a lot of usage. They have over 1 billion transactions in December. they just launched AO, which is kind of like their smart contract layer where you can
Oh, it's
build on
live
top of
now.
it. It just went live like 2 days ago.
Awesome.
Well, the token, I guess, is tradable now at least. So there's only 21 million tokens that'll ever exist for AO. I think there's like 3 million, something like that, in circulation. That's like it's a project to take a look at. I own a fair amount of Arweave, and just by holding Arweave, you earn AO tokens in the
Yeah.
wallet. But I'm looking to buy some AO tokens, and I think I'm going to start really researching projects that are being built on there. I know they're launching like some AI agents on there. Also, I think Arweave hit like 1,000 transactions per second. Like that, it's going to be able to do more transactions than Solana. Pretty positive, and it's definitely a very legitimate blockchain. AO is something that I think is going to do really well. It's under the radar right now, and they launched at like the worst market conditions, but I'm looking at it as an opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, all of these. I mean, let's go to the deep ends right now. It would be interesting to look at this in 6 months or a year and see how much this has changed, because we can obviously this is a video, we can go back to it, but right now this is where we're sitting, and Arweave's at 107. It's almost breaking top 100. It's definitely down a bit since I bought into it. I think
Way down.
Yeah,
It's up at like $35. It's only like a lot of these projects are only like twice their bear market lows right now, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah. There's some, I mean, even if I keep scrolling down here, I mean, there's so many of these that won't be here in 4 years. So it's definitely interesting. I mean,
sure.
Dynex is ranked 1100, and Dynex has a lot of potential, but
I agree.
it takes time. I mean, Helium IoT 1058. That's crazy. I mean, it makes sense because people haven't ported over yet to the HNT token, but Helium IoT is higher up than Dynex, and Handshake Over is a good one. Noodle is a good one. Noodle is it's like, or Nodal, I guess it's called.
Nodal.
Yeah.
Do you see that Pi Networks having their token launch after like 6 years?
Yeah. I don't
That's
know.
wild.
I think it's a disaster. I don't think that project's gonna really do anything, but I could be wrong. I mean, yeah, it was started by what? Princeton people that went to. No, it was who started the Pi token?
I remember. It's been a while. I mean, I think I was mining that in like the last market cycle, like 4 years ago. So, but yeah,
Stanford graduates. It was by a group of Stanford graduates.
They're gonna have their token launch. I think it's like, they said it's like 6 years.
Yeah.
Pretty wild. I mean, same thing happened with, I think it was Streamer. Streamer didn't have their main net for like 6 years.
Yeah. Speaking of which, what is going on with Streamer?
Their price is way down too, but it's a legitimate network for like decentralized data streaming. Like it's a good project, but the price is way down. It's wild, man, how hard the market got hit. But like you said, I think it will be interesting to see in like 6-12 months. Because here's the deal. I think once people are at like maximum pain and just losing faith in the market,
Don't
and
say
people
that.
like, well, I mean, we're kind of close. If
We
we're
really
not
are.
there, like
Honestly, the big sign is hearing other people, like people that might kind of be into crypto or just going on X, and you're seeing all of the bearish posts. That's when I mean, people are really starting to feel it.
Yeah, when people lose faith, that's when the market makers are like, all right, we've extracted enough liquidity out of the market. Let's enter back in now. Like, I feel like it's going to happen. That said, I mean, the inflation reports weren't fantastic today. Something to definitely pay attention to. Like, came in higher than expected, makes it less likely that Jerome Powell is going to lower rates, even though Trump wants him to. I don't think he really likes Trump, so he's.
You think?
Yeah, I mean, so there was a report. there's a report last week that said he was going to start. They're going to start lowering rates in June. Um, I think when it happens, it'll be bullish. But with the inflation reports where they're at right now, I don't expect it to happen. Some people are calling for the rates to go up more. So like that's something to certainly pay attention to.
Yeah, good thing I refinanced, huh?
Man,
All my student loans.
it's tough out there right now. So that's the question. Like the institutional money's there. Does retail have money to invest? And how many have lost all their money in meme coins? Like
Yeah.
um and that's the question, right? You gotta think of the last market cycle. A lot of people had just gotten stimulus checks and they're like throwing money at risk on assets. I mean, it's kind of a perfect storm. This time around, it's like, okay, people are leveraged out the ass on credit cards. So it's like, you know, how many people have liquidity to throw in the market right now? It's a good question. Solana, though, tell you what, the Solana ETFs are likely coming soon.
Oh yeah, I got some news on that. This is why Bitcoin was pumping. Actually, this is not Solana, but you can keep talking. But Litecoin, XRP, and Dogecoin have high odds of approval. And if you looked at the prices of, I would say Litecoin is doing better than Dogecoin and XRP right now. I saw a tweet that said it was outperforming the rest of the market like this entire year, pretty much, in terms of consistent upwards growth, which is, I mean, and Litecoin's still not even close to an all-time high, so it's interesting. But yeah, Solana, Litecoin, I think within the standard process is 6 months, but I think it could be fast-tracked.
Yeah, I agree. So you think about people that are holding these assets. There's a lot of people holding Solana. If institutional money starts coming in and pumping the price up, you better believe that some of those profits are going to flow into altcoins. I mean, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen it so much with Bitcoin because we've seen Bitcoin dominance hasn't really dropped off. So I think a lot of people have just held. But when you have degens that are holding Solana and been in these meme coin trenches, like you have to think if the price of Solana pumps like crazy off these ETFs, I think that's very bullish. You add the fact that the FTX repayments are taking place like within the next week.
Yeah.
Now, I believe it's based on the price that when everything was filed. I don't think it's at current prices. Um, and I think they're getting paid back in stable coins. At least last I checked, that's what it was, unless it's changed. But still should be a lot of liquidity re-entering the market. Not all of it will, but I think a lot of it will. So, those are very positive things. And then just the fact that like, what price do you think Bitcoin needs to get to before you start to see people take profits and moving into altcoins? I think, yeah, I think if we start seeing Bitcoin get up to, above 120, we're going to start seeing the flow happen.
Dude, I don't
But
know.
we'll see.
I don't know what bullish news needs to come across these people's desks for them to finally be like, oh, maybe I should buy Bitcoin. Like, it's insane. We were just talking about like not even 15 minutes ago. It's like the fact that they're buying. I saw a tweet. I gotta start liking these tweets so I can remember to come back to them. But
Bookmark them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a better idea.
Yeah, I generally bookmark them.
It was like MicroStrategy has bought 55,000 Bitcoin already this year, and I think only 18,000 have been made or something. So it's it's strategically like the short squeeze is going to come, but it's going to be like a long short squeeze. And forgive me if I'm not saying that right. I don't understand short squeezes and long squeezes, like the traditional finance terms and stuff like that. It's just not my world.
Well, if people are shorting the price of something, once the price gets above a certain amount, they get liquidated. So it's people pushing the price up to liquidate the people that have short positions.
Find it.
So
found it. I found it.
I think I saw the same tweet. And then when you look at the supply on exchanges too, it's just
Yeah.
It's crazy the price isn't higher. It just seems weird.
Bitcoin ETFs have already acquired 50. I'll just round it. 56,000 Bitcoin in 2025, while only 16,000 were mined. This supply shock is mathematically inevitable. Price will move accordingly. And I keep seeing, like, I had this crazy thought. What was it, like this morning? I woke up at like 6 a.m. to go to work, and I had this thought. I'm like, wait, what if there's more than 21 million Bitcoin? Because that would be literally the only explanation for why the price isn't going up. Because all of this bullish information is just, it's pointing the other way. Like it's making me feel like I'm crazy.
That happened in the last bull run. It was paper, they call it paper Bitcoin, because like people were buying Bitcoin on exchanges. The exchanges didn't actually hold that much Bitcoin. They were showing they had a balance. It wasn't until if you withdrew from the exchange, then they would obviously have to on-chain send your Bitcoin to you. So a lot of these exchanges were saying people held Bitcoin, but didn't actually have it on chain. So there was in essence more Bitcoin than what was in circulation, which suppressed the buying pressure on it. I think these ETFs though announced like last year that they were going to start settling within 24 hours on chain, so it shouldn't be happening. But it does make me wonder, like, are they buying these off the market? Like, if they're not, maybe they're not buying them in the open market. Maybe the price.
It has to be private, or it's just because they're doing the market manipulation, whatever that thing was called. It just doesn't make sense, man.
I agree. I've been talking to my buddy Suburban Crypto about this, like so much over the last year, and it's just OTC buys. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think they have to be doing OTC buys, but who are they buying from? Because these exchanges are like running out of supply. So what happens then? Like where? Ooh, thoughts from the Texas Stock Exchange? Yeah, apparently Texas is launching a stock exchange now outside of New York. So Texas is gonna have a stock exchange. I don't know. I haven't looked that far into it. I just read that news a few hours ago. It's interesting. They're also expected to open up the stock exchange for longer hours. So, okay, not launch. It's Chicago's transferring. Oh, Chicago's transferring to Texas. Okay, not surprising. I live in Chicago, and I probably would move my business out of there too. So ETFs are buying Bitcoin from commercial farms. Great, but like they're buying more than what the farms are mining. So I just don't. I mean, it makes sense.
There's also,
but also, there's like reports that the miners haven't been selling. So like, I don't know.
Which one is it? Which one is it?
I don't know. But the amount of buying versus the amount of new supply coming online, it just seems like the price should be higher. It seems odd to me. And maybe it's just like people were panic selling. I don't know. But it's just a matter of time. These exchanges supplies are getting lower and lower. Eventually, it's gonna be like, okay, so where are you going to buy from? Who are you buying from? Because who's selling? Like at the volume that they're buying at. I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah, it's just every single day, multiple times a day, I see all of these things about purchase, and you can see it on chain. They're not hiding it, and I don't see the sells. I only see the buys. Like what?
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird, man.
I'm adding Arweave to the site too.
Add Arweave for sure. Arweave's yeah, man. It's so cheap right now too. It's crazy.
Some other ones. I mean, dude, like I want this to be a real thing. I really want this site to be successful. I want the Discord. I want channel. I want your channel, my channel, like everything. So we got to build something there.
It's crazy. So they're transferring from Chicago. Brandon Johnson, that guy is something. I'll tell you what.
I'll have to be in
Where
Chicago.
there were a lot of businesses are leaving Chicago, man. Like that city. I mean, I love living there. It's great to be there during the summer, but like there's a major doom loop scenario there where like businesses are leaving, people aren't, there's vacancy in office space, and they're not generating enough tax revenue. So they have $1 billion annual deficit right now. Like
That's not it.
is not good. And then they're talking about cutting the police force and raising property tax. They wanted to raise
Cutting the
property
police
tax, second
force.
shutdown.
That's definitely the right idea. Cutting the police force, the people that
Yeah.
keep you.
In Chicago, of all places.
Well, who knows? Maybe Elon and Doge will find the corruption with what is it? Your mayor or
the mayor's spending is
corrupt.
corrupt.
It's a lady. Yeah, she's super corrupt.
Oh, Lori Lightfoot's gone. Now it's Brandon Johnson.
Okay.
He's worse than she was. But yeah. But I don't know. We'll see. I just like I think we need to be a little bit patient here. I think people expected that we'd have a lot more action on regulation and around crypto.
Definitely.
But it's been like 3 weeks.
People still aren't approved. Still waiting on a couple more.
Yeah, and David Saxton, he's going to do some good things. Like, I think it's going to take a little bit longer than people were hoping for, but I think we're going to see some good things come down pretty soon here. And then, yeah, man, when you look at the states, if we do see a Bitcoin Reserve get approved, that the market's going to go fucking crazy. Like, because you're going to see countries around the world, and like we're already seeing it. Japan announced, I believe, that they're starting to accumulate. Like, we're already seeing countries accumulate. I think a lot of them are doing it quietly.
Yeah. Also, Japan or no? Wait, did you say Japan or China?
So Japan.
Okay. China claims, like, I don't know if you remember all the times they would say that they're banning crypto and this and that.
Yeah.
It turns out they have the most network hash rate out of any country, believe it or not. So, I mean, they're manufacturing all the miners there. Like,
yeah.
Canada,
Well, when they'd outlaw mining, you'd see the hash rate like drop significantly for like 2 weeks, and then come back. But that makes sense because they do sell the miners there, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a crazy thing. There's nothing you can do, but what they do is when they make these new devices, they mine them for like a month easily in their facilities. They get a bunch of Bitcoin because they know, or Bitcoin, whatever coin their ASICs are, because they know as soon as they ship them out to users, all that hash rate is now going to flood the market. And the dollar amount that they can say that it generates when it's in their warehouse is going to be much higher than when it's in the hands of thousands of people. So it's just like an infinite money glitch.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the best types of glitches.
I had a few that were mining Doge and Litecoin for a little bit there.
Yeah,
They did pretty well, actually.
I got my DG1 Plus that is mining away. Pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be down at that conference in Florida too.
Dude, I'm excited. I gotta book a hotel. I keep forgetting, and I gotta get a car. I think I'm gonna do it tomorrow. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, we're gonna be at the Mining Disrupt conference. It's what is it? The world's biggest. Let me look it up.
Be good for some networking. And I'm gonna
absolutely, man.
We'll be down there. I'm gonna see my mom afterwards in St. Pete.
Yes, the world's largest Bitcoin mining conference. I'm very excited. This is the first crypto conference I'm going to. Tickets are on sale, and I think I have a 20% off. If you go onto my website at the top, there's a link you can click, get 20% off. I don't get any kickback for that. It's just a 20% off for you guys, and it's going to be fun. It's March 25th to the 27th. They're adding a bunch of people. There's a bunch of sponsors. AlphaPex is the miner I was just talking about. They're going to be there. I'm excited to meet these people. This is like one of the few chances we get, I would say, to meet a lot of these people because they're coming from all over the world. A lot of these people are overseas. But last year they had, I think they had Ted Cruz last year speak. Yeah. And here, there's a bunch of speakers already for this year. Yeah, that should be fun. Thinking about renting a Tesla or something. What do you think? Put a demo, but here we are, dude. We're on the site.
Connected to Demo. I had no idea. I use I've been using Turo normally. It's just kind of it's more convenient. You have to wait in line at the rental car.
Yeah,
lines, which are a
I've heard
pain.
about them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it works out pretty well.
Nice.
I'll probably grab a car while I'm down there too. So you can check out some Airbnbs too, potentially.
Oh, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, I was looking at the Hard Rock because they said they had a bunch of events there, but it's not worth the price.
Oh
It's
yeah,
not worth the price. I still think of myself as a college student. I'm like, I can't afford that, but I do have an income, so I technically could. But it's like it's money I don't really need to spend. I don't know. I might just stay at my family's house down there.
Spend it to your LLC.
Oh, dude, you're so right. I forgot about that.
Yeah. It is an expense. I mean, it's a legitimate expense. Like you can definitely, it's defendable.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it'd be good. And this would be the first time we met each other in person too. I met Joe one time.
Oh, really? He avoids me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I live in Chicago. He was in downtown Chicago, so we met up.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that'll be a good time.
Definitely.
Yeah. Heck yeah. I
gotta make business cards. I'm working on making business cards for Blockchain Bay, and they're rough. They're a work in progress, but I will have them in. Where is it? I just ordered like a sample from Vistaprint to see all the different types of material. I'm like I gotta really make the best card here because I'm trying to really market myself.
I made cards for Hive Maverick, so when I pitch my Uber and Lyft drivers, I found that having a physical card was far more effective than a digital card so they could remember. So my close rate was up much higher. Joe said, BS, I'm here.
Joe, it's nice to see your channel isn't deactivated, so I guess you still do have it, unless this is a different one.
But, yeah, maybe it's a different login. I don't know.
Oh, man. Some pretty good. Oh, wow. Was there one other thing I was going to say? Let's see. There's two more things. Coinbase Derivatives is set to launch Solana and Hedera futures, so that's kind of big. And then Caspa, if you guys are interested in that, they are developing smart contracts, which means stable coins are going to be on Caspa, which means Caspa just got a hell of a lot more useful for the rest of the crypto ecosystem. So that's that'll be interesting for sure to see how that pans out. Also, some little housekeeping things. I know Tangem is set to add Cadena, I think in Q1, to their wallet, which is going to be the first hardware wallet that supports Cadena. Hopefully we'll see Cadena being supported by exchanges. Like there's some of these projects that have been around for a while and they've been very useful and they're getting sidelined because of the current meme coin frenzy. Like you're seeing, obviously Trump coin is from the president of the United States, but you see Trump coin get added to every major exchange in a day, and Flux and Caspa and all of these coins that have been around for a while that have useful proof of work or whatever it may be, they just have useful blockchain technology. They're not being implemented.
But they're their own blockchain though, right? You have to, like, the meme coins are built on Solana, so it's a lot easier to add, support for them. These projects that are like Arweave's the same thing, man. Like these projects that are on their own blockchain, it's a lot harder to get them to add support
Yes,
on centralized exchanges.
but I feel I don't know. I just come on, guys, put in some effort. Like you guys are the exchanges. Like step it up. I know they're not going to watch this, but like if you get they want to advance the future of crypto, you need to step it up. You need to help advance
They
the
want to
future of
make
crypto.
money. They
Yeah,
want to make
at the end
money.
of the day, that's why. Yeah.
These meme coins, like these centralized exchanges charge
Oh, I know.
a lot of money. They want like a certain percentage of the tokens. They want USDC. With the
And
one
they,
caveat, they're like, if you have a lot of volume, they will add you because they can make money off fees. But if you don't
yeah,
have like astronomical volume, then they charge an arm and a leg to get listed.
I know. I think Brian Armstrong tweeted. I keep saying tweeted. Is it posted now? Is that what he said? That they like don't charge or something. I think it was a controversial post, and they're like, "What do you? Yes, you do. Yeah, you definitely do." It's the same. Like even decentralized. I have it on my website. Let me check. They're called non-custodial swaps, like Change Now, Changely, Simple Swap. It's decentralized exchange where you can kind of swap stuff. If you want to get your coin on there, you have to pay like $10,000. It's not cheap, especially for a project that is starting out. And you also have to be able to support it on a network like, let's say, Cadena or Flux or Caspa, where it's not widely accepted. It's a lot more difficult. So I
Yeah.
totally understand why it's easier for them to add all of these Solana meme coins. But at the same time, there have been projects that have been trying, focusing on my mic, there's projects that have been trying to be implemented on these exchanges for years now, and they still haven't really gotten their spotlight. I don't know if that has stuff to do with them. Like maybe Coinbase has sent stuff back and they just kind of haven't gotten to it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Coinbase charges enough on their freaking transaction fees, man. It is like criminal.
They make a good amount of money.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if your credit card charged a transaction fee every single time?
Well, I mean, they kind of do.
Yeah, but
they charge the vendor, and then the vendor adds it to their pricing. But
yeah, but we don't see it.
yeah, well, it's just like it's egregious how much they charge. I mean, it's oh, by the way, crypto.com, they're the easiest to get listed on from what I've heard talking to different projects.
For the
But
US
I
or
saw
just
crypto.com just got cleared to be activated in Europe.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that is interesting. But I've heard it's easier to get listed on there. Like I've talked to some projects, some teams that they're on their own blockchain, and they're like, yeah, crypto.com is like the one we'll be able to get listed on. The others are going to take a while.
Yeah, I've noticed it's domino effect for sure. Once one lists it, like it's pretty much like you're set up. But is Hivemapper listed on Binance?
No, I don't think they might have gotten relisted. But remember, so Helium, they when they launched IoT and mobile, there's a big debacle where Binance accidentally like attached the wrong price to the token. Someone cashed out a bunch of like IoT and
Yeah, I
got
remember
way
that.
overpaid, and they got like super salty and like delisted everything.
Yeah,
So I don't know. I don't know if they've been
that was
relisted
crazy.
or not yet. Yeah. They're not happy. I think they took like it was like a $50 million loss or something like that.
I
So
think they got their money back. I'm not sure. They threatened like a lawsuit or something, which is funny because if
so it was the other way around.
they would be like, oh, it's our money. Yep.
Yeah, good luck. Although Coinbase now you can recover assets. If you send an asset they don't support, you can recover your assets now on Coinbase, which is kind of
That's pretty
nice.
awesome. Yeah.
Which I thought it should be, but yeah.
I mean, that's definitely the right way to do it, because there's so many people that are their first application that they use to buy crypto is Coinbase or usually Robinhood. Binance US is like it's just not it's not what people go to when they usually go to Robinhood or Coinbase. So they make mistakes, and having the ability to recover is definitely a plus.
For sure. Yeah, Demo, that's happened with a bunch of my drivers because they only support like the Ethereum version, right? So
That's the other thing that doesn't make sense is like, okay, so a token is already listed on Coinbase and it's cross chain, yet they only have Ethereum when all they have to do is, I know it's easy. They click toggle, they click toggle it on, and you could have Demo on Polygon on Coinbase.
Yeah,
I don't
know
understand.
why.
Who do you have to pay? Who do you have to talk to?
I don't know. CoinMarketCap's the same way, by the way. Like CoinGecko is easier to get listed on for sure, but CoinMarketCap like charges to get your project listed on there. Yeah, it's all a shame. And during the bull run, they charge like way more. They charge 3 to 4 times more, these exchange listings and everything, than in the bear market.
I mean, everything goes up. Even the price of ASICs goes up. Everything follows suit. But Coinbase is actually having a Spaces on X on sometimes this month. I think it's either the end of this week or next week. It's going to be the very first Spaces hosted by Brian Armstrong, and they're going to be taking questions, I'm pretty sure. So that's definitely something to look forward to. I just saw it come across my feed today. I'll definitely be tuning into that. Hopefully, some of these questions will get answered. I doubt it. Every time I'm seeing people interview Trump or any member in his cabinet about crypto, they don't ask specifically about a strategic reserve and when. Like they just skip the question every time. So hopefully, maybe someone will ask the right questions.
The one time I did see it asked again was that David Sachs conference, and it was at the very end. A lot of people missed it, I think, but he did say Trump has tasked them with looking at that first. So,
yes.
So we'll see, man. He said we're going to see if it's viable, is what his answer was. So we should know soon enough.
I don't know if you saw the they zoomed in on one of the guys talking after someone said strategic Bitcoin reserve, and the guy like smiled at the guy next to him and winked at him. So they're like, oh, like they're trying to keep it a secret, but human excitement can't contain it. That was just something. I don't know. It could be nothing. It probably isn't nothing.
So the Illumis is pushing for it, and she wants to fund it basically because our gold reserves are. I think we talked about this in the last live stream, but like our gold reserves are priced at the old value. It has not. We haven't updated to current market values of gold prices. So like our holdings, if we update those prices, that's how she wants to essentially fund the reserve.
Also, Doge. I don't know if you've been on Debt Clock. You ever been on that website? But you can. They added Doge to it.
80 billion or something.
Oh, it's definitely more than that. I think yesterday I looked and it was
with a B, not million. I think it's like 80 billion, something like that.
Oh yeah, I guess it still is. It's been pretty slow today. But $88 billion. Could you imagine if? And it's been what? How many days? Yeah,
two weeks.
20 days, 15 days. They've already saved $88 billion, and they're in the process of uncovering what could possibly be the largest fraud scheme of all time. Could you imagine if they just took all that money and just threw it right into Bitcoin?
Oh, wait till they get to the Pentagon.
Oh, geez. It's going to be another disaster or something.
Pentagon's has failed like 7 audits in a row.
I saw a tweet today that they replaced was it like 8 coffee cups in the Pentagon for $25,000?
I saw that too. I wonder if that's true.
Like,
if that's true, that's crazy. But that's nothing new, man. Like I think it was like 20 years ago, they like saw that they paid like $20,000 for a toilet seat or
And they
something.
kind of,
Like
I
it's
feel like people say that they discover it, and then someone with a black suit comes to the door and they never bring it up again. Like there is some deep pockets and power that are controlling that. I saw a Senate hearing a couple of years ago, but they were talking about like bearings to build to work on an airplane or something in the military, and they were like, yeah, normally these bushings cost like $1.50. You guys are charging $25,000 a bushing. It's like someone somewhere is getting the money. So man, I'm excited. I'm
yeah.
I want to see
Question
people
is
get
who?
burned. I want to see people get burned.
Yeah.
We need this excitement because the market is not doing anything.
No, I mean the great thing would be if they could cut those expenses and then also cut taxes. You know how bullish
Taxes.
that would be if that does happen. I'm not holding my breath, but like if
Well,
that
Trump
did
did
happen,
say, yeah, he said he wanted to. His main goal with the TCGA was to refine it even more and lower it even more, but also extend it because it's supposed to be sunsetted this year. And did he? I don't know if he signed an executive order on it yet, but he is definitely extending it past 2025. It's just a matter of I think it's gonna. He has time, so it really doesn't matter because this filing will be next April when all this takes place. So we have a while.
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I need it, Brad. I need lower taxes.
They said that someone said this. They have to spend the funds allocated to them, or their budget gets cut. We saw the same. I've seen the same thing in the private sector. It's like you're in a certain department. They're like, well, we have to spend this money, or else they think we won't need it, or they think we don't need it, and they'll cut the budget. But that's still bullshit.
Yeah,
Like,
there needs to be a better way to. I think they need to change how it works. Obviously, me being a 24-year-old guy with no experience in the government, my advice isn't gonna get through. But like, they got to figure out a different way because who's paying $25,000 for $1 bushing? Where does the money go? If that's the case, we need to become government contractors because we could make a killing.
Right. Yeah, I'll sell them some fry weather stations. Uh, oh, buddy. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, I mean that's crazy. That's a broken system. But yeah, we'll see. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. That said, like, look, I remain bullish. These last couple weeks have been like painful. They suck. But I think a lot of people got washed out. I think a lot of the money that was flowing through meme coins, a lot of the bullshit money got washed out, and a lot of the big Twitter accounts, I think, they were really leveraged. I think a lot of people probably got liquidated. But you know what, man? It is what it is. I just hope that as the money comes back in, we see more of it go to utility and less people gambling on meme coins. Um,
Yep,
yeah,
I
well,
agree.
but we'll see. We'll have to wait and see. But in the long run, I do believe that the utility projects will win out. Um, we kind of saw it in this last flush out, man. Like the big meme coins went down like 95+%. A lot of the deepen projects retraced like 50%. So painful, but not as painful. And something like GeoNet with a lot of utility was down like 20%. So and it had a nice run before that. So I am excited, man. I think the next few months could get fun. I don't know for
I
sure when
bet,
things are gonna get bottomed out, but we'll see.
I bet 2 weeks from now, when we stream again, it's going to be completely different. Not financial advice at all, but obviously I'm bullish about crypto.
We're gonna get on 2 weeks and Chris will be like,
Yeah,
"Yeah, man, I'm done with crypto. We got washed out further." No, I
I
think
want.
uh, I think
Yeah,
I think you're right though. I think it's just a matter of time here.
February,
Bef-
January is was I always forget the words, dude. My vocabulary is pretty tiny when I think about it. Um, acclimation period. There we go. January. and January's over. And we're almost halfway through February and nothing's happened yet. But Bitcoin has seemed to have found its floor, and the rest of the market kind of is
knock on wood,
stagnant.
sir. Knock on wood. This market cycle has been different. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Generally we would have seen things really take off in early February, but this thing, it started early. We talked about this last time. It started, we had an all-time high in Bitcoin before the halving for the first time ever. We have institutional money coming in and the ETFs and everything. So it's been certainly a different cycle. And I think as opposed to prior cycles where everything just kind of pumped, we're seeing more rotations into different sectors. There's so many more projects, man.
Yeah.
But when you look at the total crypto market cap, like I just don't see a scenario in which we've hit the high. It is normal to see pullbacks like this. So we'll have to wait and see. For me, I'm just like, hey, adding to my conviction plays on big pullbacks like this, and minimizing the amount that I play in the speculative meme coin stuff. Like I'll mess around with it a little bit here and there, but it's a very small percentage of my portfolio. And stay true to conviction plays and don't overextend across too many projects, so you can manage your positions.
Oh man.
But what are you looking at? Your portfolio?
No, but it has been. I added all my my wallets to Coin Tracker to track them. I think I said this last time, and over the past 2 weeks, it's just been it's been terrible. And then I'm looking, and I'm like, I get the notification every day of how much my portfolio balance, and it's been multiple days of $1,000s lost.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh well, tomorrow will be better. And then the next day it's double from the previous. And I'm looking at getting Wendy's or something. I'm like, maybe I'll hold off. I'll eat in tonight. I got a steak in the freezer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's what he's guys said, my alts have done well. My alts have done very well. If I look back to 2023 when I started building my positions, they've done well. But but we had the deep in sector, aside from a handful, haven't done particularly well. A lot of them have pumped at times, but I'm looking at the price on many of these, and they're maybe 2x from the bear market back in 2023. So, I don't think we've seen a major flow in the deep end yet. But again, I think it's happening. Yeah, and he says, he's definitely looking at his portfolio. I haven't looked at my main portfolio a lot in the last week because I'm just like, it is.
In the grand scheme of things, these last 2 weeks will have been nothing.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. I think a lot of people, especially the people on X, a lot of those people live on their phone and live on that platform. They're watching it like a hawk. You got to take a step away. You got to enjoy your life because you only get one. And it's just going by while you're just staring at the price of crypto.
Yeah, I agree. The things I get, pissed off about, if anything, is looking at these prices, wishing I had more powder to invest right now. Like that, because I look at Arweave in the $9 range. What the hell? Some of these.
You
some
told
of
me
these
to
prices.
buy it at 21.
Yeah, always DCA, my friend. Always DCA.
I went all in, dude. I saw one article that said DCAing versus lump buying is the equivalent. And I was like, okay, it's good enough. I bought it. But it was, I totally agree with DCA, but a lot of people get FOMO.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to be patient. It's DCA, and then you do it over a 3-day period. It's nah.
That's pretty much what I did. But of course, Like with Bitcoin or with some of them, like sometimes you're DCAing in and then the price starts going up. You're like, shit, I'm gonna miss the massive run. So I throw it all in, and of course it comes back down.
Yeah. He said, I meant to say most of my alts have not done very well. Yeah. Well, yeah, because look, like I had some like Nosana did really well. I got in at like 2 cents. It did like a 400x. It's in like 150x now, but like most of them where you were like, okay, if you look at the last bull run, most of these defense projects should have done, 10, 20x or more by now. It's like, okay, we've seen like a 3x and then like a pullback. It's been a really frustrating market cycle to this point, unless you like perfectly played the meme coins and then the AI agents and like, which most people I don't think have done that. But yeah, man, I do think that 2025 still I expect will be a good year. Who knows? No one has a crystal ball, but that's my expectation. And when we have our next update video, probably in like a week or two, I think
Yeah,
see how things are looking.
dude, I can't blow out this candle. It just there we go. I put the lid over that candle for 10 seconds. I took the lid off and one wick was still going. I don't understand that. But
Oh man,
yeah,
your portfolio's on fire. A dumpster fire.
So it feels like, you know what, the thing that makes me happy is I still get the notification every single day for my miner, my ASIC, and it's just it's just working, which is why proof of work is just, I love it, dude.
Did you buy any Daba miners?
No, I have not. How much are they?
Okay, like $199.
Okay, I'm sure you bought
Use
like
the
50.
Nah, I bought like 10 so far. I'll probably buy more.
Okay.
I think that project's gonna do pretty well. I have a link in my video description too. You can use if you want.
Discount or
It's just an affiliate link.
just referral? Okay.
See, eventually,
maybe
I think they will do a discount link at some point, but right now it's just affiliate link. But I do think that project's I'm excited about it. I think they have the pieces in place. Again, if you haven't watched that video, definitely check it out. It's my most recent video. But
you need additional fees of $100 to activate it. Did you read that part?
yeah, eventually you'll need $100 in DBT to activate.
That doesn't seem too bad, honestly. $2.99 entry point for
considering that
something
gets
that's
installed for you.
Yeah, it's completely hands off
maintained.
and managed. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's much better. I mean, we were paying $400 for Hive mappers, and we had to manually upload them, diagnose them, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Buy upgraded mounts, upgraded power supplies, make sure we only drive during nice shiny weather, got to angle the camera.
I gotta say, I've heard pretty positive feedback about the bee so far. I haven't gotten mine yet, but I know some people that have. I haven't been back home though. I know I got some deliveries while I was gone, so it might have come in. But I've heard that it's been a pretty seamless process from a couple people that have them. So be interesting. It's funny though, because like every time Ariel like sends out like a positive tweet recently, like the price just drops more. But I think that's more market conditions than anything. But
definitely is. He's been talking a lot about. He's been actually posting a lot more frequently than I think he ever has before, and he's talking about all the meme coins and basically saying what we were saying, where we think it's a fad, and he expects the money to start to flow to other successful deep in projects. The issue is, I'm sure a lot of the coins that have pumped and dumped, that money is not going to go into those projects. The money that was taken out, those people have probably cashed out and bought Lambos, but there's still going to be a decent flow coming back.
Yeah,
especially since it's all on Solana. It's all within the same blockchain. It's very easy for these tokens to rise and fall. They don't have enough market cap to be as stable as the big 10.
Yeah.
I'd say even honestly the big 5, because after like 5 it gets kind of
Yeah. Oh yeah. That community coin one did like a after I talked about it in the last one, I did like a 7x and then it died with the market.
Yeah, thanks.
But it did go 7x the next day.
I should have sold it, dude. Whatever.
Yeah.
Now I gotta hold on to it for the ever until it goes back up. If you don't know what we're talking about, let's chill it really quick.
Yeah, I'm not gonna shill a meme coin right
Yeah,
now.
Ethereum Classic. Yeah, I have Ethereum Classic. I have Digibyte. There's a bunch of like Titan old cryptos that are just kind of sitting, and they've proven their worth. They work. They've been around for a while. They've survived multiple bear markets, and yet it's just not the attractive option right now. But who knows? Maybe in a while it will change. I mean,
People like their shiny new toys, but
of course,
we
new
still in the last
logos.
market cycle saw like some of the old stuff pump. Like we have not really seen crazy green days like we've had in the past market cycles. We haven't really seen it. And I know a lot of people are like, well, it's because of the meme coins. Like, but we had NFTs doing the same thing last market cycle. I just don't think we've hit like that euphoria stage.
Yeah, it's coming.
I agree, man. Well, we've been on for a while. You want to
I'm gonna go to
close
bed.
things out? Yeah, I'm gonna hit the road early tomorrow morning. Get back to Chicago.
Thank you guys, everyone who's been sticking around. I don't know how X works with StreamYard. I feel like it's based on if you just click it and then click away, because it says there's 61 people watching. I don't think that's accurate, but appreciate everyone that is sticking around. Also, the comments are super nice. I think it's cool, but we're getting X comments now, which I don't think we had last time. So that must be a new feature.
We did get some.
Here. Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the next 2 weeks and reconnecting and seeing how this all works. And then after that, then pretty much the next time we're going to be in person.
That's very true. That'll be March 25th, 27th. It's like right around my birthday, so to have a drink.
Awesome. I'll drink. Any excuse, sure.
Yeah. So hopefully it'll be out of happiness for our portfolio and not not the last 2 weeks of sadness. No, it'll be good, man. I'm excited about it. But yeah, let's do this again in a couple weeks. And thank you all for tuning in, and very exciting times ahead, man. I'm excited, and be on the lookout for the exhibits videos. Maybe my next one, I'm trying to get it launched in the next probably like 4 or 5 days.
Nice. I need to get some good videos out. I feel like I've been slacking some of these, but I gotta find the time.
You've been pretty active, man.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Peace out.
Peace out, y'all.